Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. The Get Yourself Active programme have been running a number of sessions over the last few months which have covered a range of important topics all to do with co-production. The aim of these sessions has been to support more organisations in both the sports sector and the disability sector to understand the basics of co-production, as well as sharing ways to effectively embed co-production into practice. In this session today, we're really pleased to be joined by Ageing Better in Birmingham, who are part of the National Ageing Better programme funded by the National Lottery Community Fund. During this webinar, Ageing Better in Birmingham will share how they have incorporated a diverse mix of older people involvement, which is fully representative of the communities that Ageing Better activities are designed to serve. Before I pass over to the Ageing Better panel, and while we're just waiting for people to join, I'll tell you a little bit about us. So Disability Rights UK is a user-led pan-disability charity. We exist to build leadership and power amongst disabled people to create a movement for change. Our charitable objectives include breaking the link between disability and poverty and enabling disabled people to achieve independence and control over their own lives. The majority of our staff and trustees also have lived experience of disability. And Get Yourself Active is a programme funded by Sport England and led by Disability Rights UK. We work alongside disabled people to lead change in the social care, health and sport sectors in order to improve health and wellbeing outcomes for disabled people. Co-production is a really important part of the work that we do, and we are working closely with other disabled people's user-led organisations and the sports sector to embed co-production into practice, ensuring that the sports sector works effectively with disabled people to co-produce solutions to inactivity. So just to let you know before we start that we will also be recording this session and uploading it onto our website so you can access the session after it has been live. And as this is only a short webinar, we will not be doing any Q&A today. However, if you do have any questions, there will be contact details at the end of the session, and I'll also add email addresses to the chat box. So I'm going to stop talking now and I'll pass over to the panel to begin the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Liddy. Hello, everybody. My name is Vicky O'Donoghue, and I just wanted to introduce the webinar for you and just give you a little bit of information about what we'll be covering over the next 20 minutes or so. So as Liddy introduced, Ageing Better in Birmingham are going to share today how they've incorporated diversity and inclusion within their co-production model and tell you some of the ways that they've been able to achieve this. And then we'll actually hear from members of the Age of Experience group themselves, and they will talk about their own personal experiences of being members within that group and how they've represented a diverse range of older people, such as Birmingham's BAME community, disability and LGBTQ community groups as well. And then we'll end by hearing from one of the community development workers who will tell us how diversity and inclusion has been embedded at a grassroots level and some of the ways that community partners have engaged with different groups and the difference that that's made. So first of all, I'm going to hand you over to Sam, who's going to tell you a little bit about Ageing Better in Birmingham's model of co-production and also how her role actually fits in with all of that.
Thanks, Vicky. So my name's Sam. I work for Groundwork West Midlands. Groundwork West Midlands are a charity that work to create stronger, healthy communities. And my role within Ageing Better in Birmingham is to coordinate the Age of Experience group, and you will hear from some of the group later in the webinar. The Age of the Experience group is one of the programme's greatest successes. Members are referred into the group through 5 community hubs, 2 locality-based and 2 thematic. There is also a city-wide hub. This has helped to ensure the diversity of the group, with Black and ethnic minorities represented, along with disabled and LGBT communities. This has allowed us to take an informed approach to the programme development. Rather than doing 2 or doing 4, we are committed to doing with, as co-production happens at all levels across the programme. Age of Experience members sit on our governance group and subgroups, looking at programme performance, learning and campaigning. We also have members of the group on the microfunding panel. This allows the Age of Experience members to fulfil the role of experts by experience and bring their personal experience of the very challenges and issues we are looking to solve. This is the ultimate value of co-production, not just to have a focus group. Valuable co-production is something that has to be cultivated and nurtured continuously, and a dedicated coordinator offers a link between the citizens and the programme staff. It is important when considering co-production that the role of a dedicated individual can bring real value. I have the time to develop relationships and get to know the Age of Experience group, which leads to a trusting relationship and a better outcome for the programme and the participants. Co-production takes time and tangible benefits may not always be apparent. However, the insight our members have brought to our programme is illustrated in the long-lasting relationships that have been built. I will now hand over to some of the Age of Experience members who will talk about the importance of diversity and share experiences they have encountered on their co-production journey.
So first of all then, thank you, Sam. I'm going to introduce you to Barbara. So Barbara, can you tell us a little bit about your journey as an Age of Experience group member, and just a little bit also about the difference that's made to you?
Yeah, okay, Vicky, will do. Well, I'm retired. I was lucky to be able to retire at the age of 60. And I came to realise that in retirement you can be very isolated because you're not going out to work, you're not meeting colleagues, and you've got a bit of a void in your life. I became involved with the Ageing Better initiative through the LGBT Centre in Birmingham, and that's it's made a huge difference to my life in that I'd go to meetings and events and meet new people. I've learned a lot about the diversity and what we have in Birmingham, and how this makes a huge difference to the quality of life in Brom. Met a lot of new people that I wouldn't normally have met, and it's been great. I sit on a couple of different committees, and I've gained a lot of knowledge of how social groups work and how they contribute to people's well-being, mental and physical. I visited care homes and told the staff about my life story, getting them to understand that we are all individual. Don't judge a book by its cover, and not to make assumptions about someone, but to ask. And the important thing is to listen and gain individual knowledge. So the main thing that I've learned is that in these strange times, there's one thing that's more contagious than COVID-19, and that is to smile. If you smile at somebody, they'll smile back to you. And I've even got a smile on my face mask. There's a strong link between your mental and your physical well-being. If you go home knowing that you've made a difference, you feel better in yourself. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks very much for that, Barbara. So Vimla, could we hear from you now? Just tell us a little bit about your journey as being part of the Age of Experience group and what difference it's made to you.
Hello. I got involved over 3 years ago in Citywide Hub and also in Age of Experience group. Can you hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you and we can see you. You're absolutely
Yes.
fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
Thanks, Vimla.
Being involved in fund panel and in the co-production model, it is an enrichment activity, and I feel it's almost a life sport for me. I can offer my knowledge, skills, and experience, and also it's a learning curve for me. Especially, I have learned now diversity in the strict sense of the word. I feel it gives me a sense of significance, security, and solidarity. It's given me confidence and made me feel that my opinions are valued. I have been able to get involved in other things in the city, and I'm looking forward to be more involved in future. Thank you.
Thank you, Vimla. Thank you for sharing that. So we're going to go over to Robert now. So Robert will be with us in a moment, and he's going to tell us about his personal contribution and how he's personally contributed towards achieving diversity and inclusion.
Yes, I've been involved in the Aging Better similar time to Barbara, through the LGBT Hub. And I think two of the areas where I've personally contributed is I've been involved in the core partnership, which is a number of organisations which oversee the strategy for the whole of the Aging Better programme in Birmingham. And I'm one of the 2 citizen involvements in there, which also involves what we look about evaluating the whole programme. The other one which I'm particularly contributed to was to recruit somebody to do LGBT training for care workers within the care home industry. They were developing the training program and to identify people to do that training. Because of COVID, that's now gone online rather than face to face. But it was felt an important area that more and more as LGBT people come older and go into a closed community, there was a need to look at how their needs may be met, which may be particular to them. And this also goes in line with the CQC requirements of looking about LGBT in care homes.
Great, thank you very much for that. And also then, can you just tell us a little bit about how you've listened to, appreciated and understood different community groups, Robert?
Yeah, I'm involved in groups myself, LGBT Book Club and other areas, some which have gone to Zoom. One of the areas which are particularly missing at the moment is the coffee morning, which we used to have every week at the LGBT Centre, which have got quite a mixture of people obviously who are lesbian and gay and trans, but also people who were asylum seekers, disabled. So you've got a whole range of people requiring different sorts of needs. And I think in that sort of more open environment where you were just having a chat and a coffee and making jokes and things, you could get a feel about where we need to provide services or activities for various groups of people. Some of it's again done online at the moment, but it is a very useful way where you can actually talk face to face. Thank you.
Great, thanks very much. And back to Barbara now. Barbara, can you tell us what barriers you've come up against and how you've managed to overcome them?
I think the main barriers I've come across really are ageism and sexism. People can make assumptions of older people, you know, judging a book by its cover, as I said earlier. And as a lesbian, they often think that I'm a man-hater, but I'm not. I love men. Well, I've got a lot of very good male friends, but I just not for the sexual side, if you like to know. The way I address these barriers is to have a chat with people and to ask them questions and to listen. And I think when you listen to somebody, you actually learn. And I also tell them a little bit about me. And I've never been shy about telling anybody about my situations. I've been out and proud since I was 25, and I'm 68 this year. So I was lucky enough to be accepted in my workplace. I've never had to hide in the closet, as the saying goes. I've moved house 4 times in the last 25 years, and I've always made the effort to get on with my neighbours, because I think that's very important. and for them to get to know me. And I've had some lovely neighbours, and I still do. My next door neighbours now send me barbecues over the hedge at the back of the garden, so that's lovely. There's two main adages that I take with me through my life, and that is don't judge a book by its cover, as I said earlier. And then the one that my dad told me when I came back from my first day at work when I was 16, and I said to him, I don't know how to treat people, Dad. And he said, you treat people, and because it was a diverse area that I was working in, Handsworth, and I was brought up in Great Barr, which is a white area. He said, you treat everybody like you would expect me and your mum to be treated. And that is something that I've taken with me through my whole life. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Barbara, and thanks for that really personal account as well. So I'm actually going to hand you over to Maria now. Maria is one of our community development workers from the LGBT Hub, which is run by Birmingham LGBT.
Thank you, Vicky. Ageing Better in Birmingham is a partnership programme which aims to reduce isolation for people aged 50 and over by community and volunteer activity. Our programme uses an asset-based community development approach, which means we focus on all of the strengths of our communities, their life experiences, skills, knowledge and enthusiasm, to create solutions where there were problems and to encourage self-help and helping each other, rather than the doing-to approach which Sam spoke about. Grassroots-led community action means that we can all improve the lives of isolated people here and now and have a say in how our public services are run in the future. In fact, we have already had an influence on how Birmingham City Council provides social services to older people. The Ageing Better in Birmingham programme is structured around 5 hubs, facilitated by a variety of voluntary sector agencies and partnerships. Each hub provides support and guidance to community volunteers and groups so that there are more opportunities for the over 50s to meet, socialise, make new friends and take up hobbies and activities. And it's worth noting that this programme is also intergenerational, breaking down barriers between age groups and combating the myths and stereotypes around age which contribute to isolation. The reason we have 5 hubs is because we recognise the diversity of Birmingham and that a one-size-fits-all approach won't work. It means we can understand not only how older people in general become isolated, but how this affects different diverse groups differently and create tailored solutions. The 2 geographic hubs are Tyburn and Sparkbrook. Tyburn is part of the outer city area of Birmingham, 6 miles northeast of the city centre. This largely white working class part of Birmingham has additional risk factors associated with the very high proportion of the oldest older people, poor transport links and geographical isolation. Sparkbrook, part of the inner city, is one of the most multicultural localities in Birmingham, where Black and minority ethnic communities account for nearly 80% of the local population. Life expectancy is low and health inequalities are high. Language and culture are also important factors. The 2 thematic hubs are for carers and LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender people. Carers, because they're a significant group in the city. At the time of researching, 1 in 8 Birmingham residents are carers. That's around 105,000 people. Carers tend not to have a lot of time or opportunities to attend their own leisure activities and well-being, and to connect with other people. Older LGBT people, having experienced lifetimes of discrimination, possibly abuse and even criminalisation, may continue to feel they won't be accepted into mainstream groups for older people unless they hide who they are or go back into the closet, as Robert has said. There's also a citywide hub, so everyone in Birmingham has an opportunity to get involved. Members of the Age of Experience group have been recruited from each of these hubs and so bring their unique insights into the issues I've outlined. They've enabled us all to learn what life is like from their perspective, which can be more powerful than academic facts and figures in inspiring others to become involved with the programme. The community groups we work with can have confidence that the support we offer is built on understanding the diverse needs, strengths and aspirations of our different communities, and we learn an awful lot of this from our Age of Experience group. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria. So I just wanted to end now by telling you a little bit about the co-production project, and hopefully that's given you a really good insight into how Aging Better in Birmingham have integrated and embedded diversity and inclusion within their programme. And as Lydia said at the beginning, they are actually part of a wider Aging Better programme, one of 14 Aging Better programmes actually across England. I actually work for South Yorkshire Housing Association, who are the lead organisation for Age Better in Sheffield. And I'm also leading on the co-production project, which is bringing together all the learning from the 14 partners across the network. And diversity and inclusion is one of the themes actually that will be featuring within that learning. And together as 14 areas, we're actually going to be developing, or we're in the process of developing, an online co-production toolkit that anybody can get access to, and we'll be launching that next year. And that will be based around 15 different co-production themes. Birmingham is featuring very much in that, in terms of the diversity and inclusion work that they've been doing around co-production as part of this project. And we're also going to be offering out a series of learning webinars ourselves, which you will be able to get access to. If you want to find out more about that, then please do just drop me an email. My contact details are on here and will be in the chat as well as Aging Better in Birmingham's contact details. If you want to find out a little bit more about their programme and the work they've been doing directly, then you can contact them directly as well. There's also going to be 3 regional learning events, one in the southwest of England, one in the South Midlands and one in the north. And they will be featuring the different themes that we're going to be focusing on. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about that and how it all fits together. So please do contact me if you want to find out more. So thank you everybody for taking part in the webinar today. I'm going to pop you back over to Lydia now, who's just going to finish off and round up for us.
Thank you so much, everyone. That was a really interesting and insightful session, and it was really great to hear about what you're doing to sort of include a diverse mix of people into your work and how you ensure co-production is embedded into every aspect of this as well. And I hope everyone watching enjoyed the session. So when you exit, you should be sent to a page with a quick survey to complete. So if you could spend 2 minutes just to complete this, we'll be really grateful. And thanks again to our panel for all your hard work on this webinar, and to all our viewers as well for joining. We hope you enjoyed the session and we hope to see you soon. Thanks everyone.